I just built an AI automation that saves real estate agents and agencies hundreds of hours on by simply automating one of the most common tasks within the business. So, if you can, as you can see, we're here on make.com. Now, this automation is only going to take three different uh, apps, right? It's going to take Google Sheets, ChatGPT, and make.com. So essentially only two with Google Sheets and ChatGPT. Okay. So first off, we have the Google Sheets. This is essentially just an example of a property listing database, right? You can see that we have the address, we have the bedroom number, the bathroom number, square footage, price, and key features. Key features can be anything that obviously makes the house stand out. I don't need to tell you because you are real estate agents. You've written hundreds of these and you know how the business model works. But essentially just a bit of an idea of what we're using today. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is come over here to make.com and we're going to not add one. We're going to set up a Google Sheets trigger, which is going to watch new rows. So what this is going to go ahead and do is watch that when a new row is added, the entire workflow is triggered and you get an automated listing description that just pops up here by itself. So the first thing we need to do is actually connect the Google Sheets module to your Google Sheet, right? Most of you obviously may not have done this before. If you have, you'll know. But essentially, go over here and click add. It'll pop up with a ton of different accounts. And what you go ahead and do is just select the same account that you're using for Google Sheets, and you have the Google Sheet on. Next, we're going to go ahead and click select all. What it's going to do is then ask you for a spreadsheet ID. Now, this might be sound a bit techy, but what we're going to go ahead and do is come over here, and this is the spreadsheet ID. So once you've created your spreadsheet, the spreadsheet ID is just going to be from this dash, which is after the D, to this dash just before the dash with edit on the other side of it. We're going to go ahead and copy that. We're going to come over here and we're going to paste it. It's going to find the sheet based on the location, and then you'll see sheet name pop up. Once that pops up, we simply just select sheet 1 because you're on sheet 1 here. If you select sheet 2, then obviously we'll be working with sheet, but for this case, we're using sheet 1. So let's just go ahead and show you. You'll have two sheets right here, but in this case, we're using sheet 1, so we'll select sheet 1. Then we're going to go ahead and put the limit up to 10, just for sake of it. And we're going to go ahead and choose manually. So because I already have a few of them entered already, we can go ahead and choose where we want to start. So if we wanted to start from the last one, we just go ahead and access all the data from that. So we'll click run. And as you'll see, we have now all the data from that entry. So it's all of this data right here. Not that, just this bottom row data here. That is now in make.com. The next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is set up a ChatGPT create a completion module. So we're going to add a new module in OpenAI, obviously. So we'll come here and click create a completion. So this is where it can get a bit techy with prompt engineering and not kind of understanding how to prompt the GPT, right? First off, you also may not be able to select all the different models if you don't have ChatGPT Premium. I'm not actually sure. I do, so I can select all the models. If you don't, it's $20 a month. I think it's absolutely worth it. And as a real estate agent, and the fact that ChatGPT has the ability it has such a creative mindset as well as coding mindset. It's got analytical and creative mindsets. So you're able to get so much use out of it. So the first thing that we're going to do is obviously select GPT-4. It's the newest one, the most powerful one. By 2028, if you're still watching this, it may be different. But we're going to go ahead and click add a message. Now, the first thing we want to do is add a system developer message telling the model who it is. So I've already done this and I have it just here. So to save time, I'm just going to kind of copy paste and then talk you through it. So for the sake of this one, I added, you're an expert real estate marketer. Your job is to create attractive property descriptions. So think of ChatGPT as this big, actually, let me go ahead and show you. Give me one sec. Okay, so we're here on Figma. So think of ChatGPT as this entire pool of knowledge. This is all the knowledge on the internet. ChatGPT has access to every single last bit of it, right? What we are doing by simply telling who it is saying we want you to focus on this bit of knowledge. Like, let me just color this in. So we only wanted to focus on a specific and draw its knowledge from a specific part. It could even be like focus on this little bit. It's only going to draw from this little bit of knowledge, and it's going to leave all of this here basically untapped and untouched. So that's just essentially what we're doing here. Next, we're going to add a user prompt. Now, a user prompt is going to be the prompt that we give it as the user. So it's going to be all the information that we add in as a user, right? So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to type this in. Well, copy paste it. So I've written, you are a professional real estate copywriter. Based on the following property details, write a compelling, engaging, and concise property listing under 200 words. Now we want to highlight the attractive features and make it appealing to potential home buyers, right? Then we'll go ahead and add property details. So it's going to just tell us, we're just going to tell it what data it's working with, essentially. And as you can see, as I click here, we have this big pop-up thing that's going to allow us to access all the data that's actually in Google Sheets. So all the data that we retrieved here is now over here. So for address, we'll just go ahead and select address. For bedrooms, we'll go ahead and select bedrooms. For bathrooms, we'll go select bathrooms. Square footage, we'll do the same thing. There we go. Price, we'll do price, and key features, we'll do key features. I've even added a tone, so enthusiastic, professional, and persuasive. That's the tone I wanted. You can do whatever matches kind of your tone and you. The beauty of these models is that you're able to create them as if they're just kind of clone copies of yourself, and they would do things the way you would do them, right? So that's all we're going to do for the ChatGPT part of it. We're then going to go ahead and run that model. So we're going to come over here, choose where to start. We're going to click choose manually. It's asking me for an ID for each specific row, but I just want to choose it like manually that I can see it. We're going to click that top one, and we're going to go ahead and run, right? So you can see we have extracted all the data from Google Sheets, and we're now moving it over to ChatGPT, where it's essentially creating the listing description, right? Give it a sec. There we go. So we have, as you can see, we have input, where it's going to show the input, which is the role of the system. And then we're going to show the content of the user. So here's all of, as you can see, those header like little green boxes have just turned to the information that they represent. So think of them as us just moving the titles. So we're adding the titles in, so that every time we are asking it to extract data from Google Sheets, when we say address, we mean all of these, and it's just going to continue to extract. Instead of doing them one by one, it's just going to extract the result, right? So we've got all of that, and then if you come down here to choices and collection, and then the message, you'll see a content. There we go. So here is the entire, essentially, listing description all in one big amazing thing. You know, welcome to Sun, uses the bedrooms, the bathroom, residence boasts, you know, square feeters, it's elegant living, you know, you enter immediately, embrace a warm welcoming. This home is not just a building, it's your sanctuary after a long day, offering relaxation with here's the key features. Cool. So now that we've got that, the next thing and the final thing that we have to go ahead and do is simply just add that back over here. So let's go ahead and we're going to select another Google Sheets where we're going to do update a row, right? What we're going to do is I can show you how to select the spreadsheet a different way. So we're going to leave it as select search by path. So when it says spreadsheet ID, it's going to ask you for all of these. It's going to give you a ton of folders that you have. For this case, I have it stored in my Google Drive. So it's giving me all the Google Drive folders that I have. In this case, I know it's in my Exceliflow agency folder. And within that, it's going to be in the automation folder. So you'll see it pop. Here we go. I have two. I think it's this one. Cross fingers. And then we want to, again, update the sheet name. Let's see if I do this one. Here we go. It is this one because we have two sheets on here. So we're going to go ahead and select sheet number one. Then it's going to ask you for row number. So again, like I said, we're giving it this information of what each column essentially represent, and it'll take the result each time. We're doing the same thing with which row do we want to select. So if we go over here, the row number is essentially row number 7 for this, right? As you can see, this one is the 7th row down, and we want it to input here. So we'll go ahead and select that row number. Then we'll come down here to the listing description, and we will select key features. Now, actually no, we'll select, not key features, my bad, the result. We want to select the result from ChatGPT and input that into row number 7. So we don't need to actually change anything else because there's nothing else that we want done here. We'll simply just go ahead and click save, and we'll go ahead and choose where we manually want to start. You have to do this every time you want to run it just to test it, and we'll go ahead and click run and watch it do its magic. So it's taken the data out from there, taken all the data that we wanted. It's now using that in ChatGPT to just create the listing description. Once it's done that, it's going to go ahead and upload it to the necessary row, which is not this one. Let me go ahead and check here. Updated sheet 1. We're on sheet 1. I think it's gone ahead and updated the wrong one. So in this case, let's just go ahead and see if we select the other one. Not that. We want to select this one. Select that one, and let's see if we save and see what it does. So let's go ahead. I think it's only, yeah. So we'll go ahead and boom. And we'll go ahead and run it. Let's go ahead and run it one more time and see if we got it right this time. I do have 2 sheets, so I made it a bit more confusing for myself. Fun fact is just have 1 sheet. Little piece of advice, just so that you don't get confused with certain things. Try name things very differently. Let's go ahead and check. Okay, we still don't have it. Let me quickly buff this out and I will get right back to you. All right, I got it to work. I changed nothing. It just had a bit of a hiccup the first time round. I just kind of reran it. So you can see that we have a complete completion. You know, they're all green. They're all there. You can see the data moving over. And as you can see, if we go over here, you'll see it's just inputted into this row. How that, brother? Wow, a little bit of a hiccup. Cool. Okay, now I'll go ahead and run the rest of them and then show you the results. So if we go ahead and let me just make sure I didn't mess anything up by doing that. We still get awesome. So I'll go ahead and choose where to start. I'll just run all of them, and let's go ahead and remove this, and you'll watch it just simply do its magic. So you'll see we've collected the first bit of data. What you'll realize is that it's going to keep running round and round because we have so many built up. And essentially what you want is you want to change this little square, this little circle here to trigger it on or running every like 15 minutes or every, you know, 1 day. Every time new properties get added to the Google Sheets, you can run it. So you can even select, like it says, every 15 minutes. You can do it once a day. And essentially what it'll go ahead and do is just run it every day and look for new data. And if there's no new data, it won't do anything. If there is new data, it'll go ahead and update and give you the personalized listing descriptions. So as you can see, we have, let me just make them here. Boom, boom. You can see it literally live generating. Here's another one. But you can see it literally live generating these big blocks of text here right out. Very skimmable as well. They're very readable, you know. Generally, when you have a big paragraph, it can be very scary. But yeah, essentially, that's how you do it. That is the be-all and end-all of the first automation that you can use as a real estate agent to actually get into it. So I hope this was very helpful. And yeah, I'll catch you guys with the next automation.